Workout is done. At the gym early this morning, back here today. 44-pound kettlebells in each arm. Walking around this field, coming back now, doing some squats, some shoulder presses. Okay, that's it. We're ready to roll. We're completely empty, extinguished, expunged, mind focused, heart focused, soul focused, no negative thought, no negative energy, no wayward frequencies. Just pure connection with Yahushua HaMashiach, with you. Oh. In Paul's letter to Timothy, in the book of Timothy, Timothy 1, he talks about how there should be an understanding that there are those who look to stray from the good news, stray from the word, stray from the way, the truth, and the life, and who are going to get caught up in idle talk because they want to be teachers. They want to instruct on the law. In this case, the Mosaic law, but it makes no difference. We could talk about all the traditions of the church today, the traditions of the temples of today, the traditions of all of the various cults that you have floating around today. It's all kinds of guidance, all kinds of ideologies, all kinds of blueprints which you need to follow such that you'll know the Father. There is no way to the Father except through the Son. See if we can get out of this wind so that it's a bit more quiet. No way to the Father except through the Son. It doesn't exist. But there's these teachers who are going to be filled with idle talk. Idle talk. And their idle talk will be all around the law that's written in stone, the law that is dead, and the law and the traditions of man as it relates to ethics and morality is worthless. It's worthless because all it does is it reveals corruption, it reveals sin, it reveals decadence, and it talks about punishment for such things. However, the righteous, the believers, the faithful, they have no need for such laws. They have no need for such rules of man. For our faith is true. As Paul says, the commandment is meant to be coming from a place of pure heart, good conscience, and true faith. True faith. What is Yahusha's breakdown of the simple form of the commandment? What is it? It's love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your fellow man as you love yourself. That's supposed to be coming not from some law that was carved into stone. Again, the law that's carved into stone, the traditions of man, the rules of man, the regulations of man are meant for the unrighteous, the unfaithful, and the unbelievers, the liars, the murderers, the decadent and the depraved, the defilers, the debased. Those who live in Yahusha have no need for such things because we live the commandment. And so when you get yourself a teacher, I'm not saying all priests are bad, all gurus are bad, all holy men are bad. By and large, the majority of them are seeking power. They're seeking to hold sway over you. They're seeking to yoke you to their traditions, their rules, their rituals, their ceremonies. However, I'm sure there are some very good teachers out there that can give you guidance when you have questions about the good news, about the new covenant, about the gospel. So I don't mean to disparage all that are learned. It's just that you've got to beware of the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the scribes. Woe to you hypocrites! Woe to you liars! Because they seek nothing more than to have you hold them up on a pedestal such that they are the guides to the Father. They are the chaperones to the Supreme Elohim. They will walk you through the faith to the doors of Yahuwah. No one can do that except for Yahusha HaMashiach. And the way to Yahusha is right here in your heart. But with that said, I'm sure that there are some teachers who are going to be able to help unravel some of the meaning behind what is said in the good news, in the gospel. But a lot of it, as Paul says, is going to be idle talk from people who know not what they say, they just repeat like a parrot. And in reading and then repeating, they might have no belief. They might not have any pure heart. They might not have a good conscience. They might not have a sincere faith. And how would you know? How would you know? There's only one way to know. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to read the good news. You have to nurture your soul with the word. You have to nourish your heart with the way, the truth, and the life. You have to take the time to ruminate, ponder, focus in on, concentrate on, meditate on Yahusha HaMashiach's life, his parables, his sayings, his phrases, and that of some of the apostles. You have to take the time to read that and then ruminate on it, contemplate it, and then yourself connect with Yahusha in your quiet time, in your flow state, in your zone, in your prayers. Connect and ask for discernment, ask for wisdom, ask for understanding, and he will deliver. He will deliver. You ask, you receive, you knock on the door, he opens it, you seek, you find, and he will give you the instructions. He will deliver the epiphanies. He will hit you with those revelations like a thunderbolt that will come upon your heart, and you will understand, and you'll go layers deep, because as you ponder on these phrases, on these parables, on his words, as you spend the time to ruminate, all will be revealed, because when your heart is in Hamashiach, when your soul is in Hamashiach, when your spirit is in Hamashiach, you receive all and more than you can ever ask for. And all is revealed to you. More than you would have ever imagined is revealed to you. And in this way, in you doing the work and taking the time to nourish your own soul through the words of Yahusha and of his apostles, especially Paul, then when some teacher, some preacher, some guru, some mentor starts to preach to you, then you can, for yourself, get some discernment about, is that person speaking from the heart, from a pure conscience, from a sincere faith? Because you'll have the Ruach HaKodesh living inside you, and you'll be able to detect this stuff. You'll be able to understand this stuff, and it'll resonate with you when a teacher is really speaking from the heart, from the truth, and from the Ruach HaKodesh. But you can't just rely. It's like those who go to church and think that they're saved because they just show up at church. Those that participate in these religious rituals and think that they're delivered because they participate in a ritual. Those that undergo the ceremonies, the rules and regulations, traditions of their priest, of their father, of their guru, of their holy man, and then think because they've done that, because they've just shown up, that they're forgiven, that they're delivered. Doesn't work that way. You're no better than a Pharisee if that's the case. You worship with your lips, not with your heart. You want to worship with your heart, which is why, again, Paul says the commandment is meant to be understood. It's meant to be preached. It's meant to be taught. It's meant to be delivered. It's meant to be understood. It's meant to be learned. It's meant to be absorbed. It's meant to be ruminated on from a place of a pure heart, a sincere faith, and a good conscience. Again, love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. How can you do that if it's someone else reading the words to you? What, all of a sudden you're going to be hit with a revelation? The revelations come from Yahusha. And in your quiet time, in your prayers with Him, that's why you have to do the work. Don't expect some man, some wise one, some learned one to speak some words to you, and all of a sudden you're saved, you're delivered, you're good to go, you're walking into the kingdom to come. It doesn't work that way. You have to be on your knees. You have to be on your knees in prayer, auditing yourself for all. You have to feel the pain, the guilt, the shame of who you once were. And then, in understanding your evil, sinful, decadent ways and how you don't want to be that anymore, and how you want to be recreated once again in the image of Yahuwah, that you ask for His forgiveness, you ask for His salvation, and He will deliver. Instantly, boom! You will be saved. And in so doing, in confessing to Yahuwah, in confessing and then praying on how grateful you are for His deliverance, and for how much you've received, and for all that's been revealed, because at that point you'll have more than you could ever imagine, more than you'll ever know, more than you could have ever asked for, such that your cup will runneth over, and you'll have to pay it forward. You'll feel the greatest obligation, the greatest joy to pay that forward, so others will know that if you can be saved, they can be saved. Because they will be now where you once were, in pain, in addiction, in hate, in suffering, in jealousy, in envy. And they'll see now that you are filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, and that the light explodes forth from you in an infinite number of ways, such that those who are lost, they too can see that there's a way out for them as well, that there's a way to salvation. Because again, if a wretch like me can be saved, then so can you. But you just can't rely on what's likely to be the idle talk of a wannabe teacher who wants power and dominion over you, who wants to yoke your soul to them, who wants to chain your understanding and belief to them, who wants to bind your faith to them, such that they're the gateway, that they're the shepherd. No! Only Yahusha, Hamashiach, is the shepherd. He is the good shepherd who will run to the ends of the earth in search of a lost member of His flock, such that when He finds the one sinner who converts through a pure heart and a good conscience and a sincere faith, the angels sing. One sinner comes to Yahuwah and the angels sing. That's how much you mean to Yahuwah, while the demons of this world, the evil ones of this world, the parasitic vampires of this world, the negative influences of this world, the Luciferians, the Satanists, the Lord of filth, the Lord of the flies, Hashatan, they want you to defile yourself, deprave yourself, debase yourself, suffer unto them. They want you to die so that they may live. They want you sacrificed for their own pleasure, while Yahushua HaMashiach sacrificed His life so that we may live, so that we may have everlasting life in the kingdom to come, the new paradise on earth, once new Eden, established once again when He comes. And so you want to get right with Him now, because when you knock on the door now, instantly He answers it. If you wait until it's all over and you've gone through this life, soulless, dead heart, dead spirit, decadent, depraved, constantly seeking, searching, always clawing, scratching, always trying to conquer your fellow man, manipulate circumstances, manipulate outcomes, always wondering why it never works out, why you're always lost, why you're always bereft, why you're always in a place of constantly wondering what life means, what life's all about. What are the keys to the universe? When will you finally understand? When will you finally have peace? When will you finally have solace? When will you be free of your addictions? When? And it never comes. It never materializes. You're always thirsting. You're always longing. You're always hungering. You're always in search of something, you're not sure what it was, even though for all this time he's been beckoning you, your conscience, that is Yahushua HaMashiach calling out to you. That is your spirit inside you, because he lives within us. He lives right here in your heart, and he is, you don't have to bang on his door, but he's banging on yours. He wants you to be saved. He loves you with all of his heart, his soul, all of his mind and his strength. He loves you, and all he asks is that you love him with all your mind, soul, and strength and heart, and that you love your fellow man as you love yourself. Can you imagine? Then you look at what the demons of this world want from you, and you realize what is the right choice, what is the right path to walk. And therein you will finally be fulfilled, finally be gratified, finally be satisfied, and your heart will finally heal. Your soul will finally have peace. Your spirit will finally have solace. And this is why you have to go through the catharsis. This is why you have to do the work. This is why you have to connect. You have to connect. Don't count on some priest, some teacher, some rabbi, some holy one, some magi, some guru. Don't count on other people to guide you and direct you. Don't count on them to read the words for you. And then think to yourself, oh, that was really clever. Oh, that was really smart. You have no idea what lurks in that individual's heart. You can only look inside at your own heart and know your own heart. And in confessing that heart to Yahushua HaMashiach, you will know yourself, and he will know you, and he will love you. He will accept you. No matter where you've come from, no matter what you've done, no matter the evil, the sin, we're all the same. He will save you. He will redeem you. And in so doing, he will deliver the epiphanies. But you have to nurture. You have to nourish your soul. You have to read the good news. You have to read the gospel. You have to take the time to contemplate so that you know your own heart, such that when someone speaks the gospel or the good news to you, you'll know if it resonates. You'll know if it hits the right frequency. You know if it's coming from a place of a pure conscience, because it'll connect. It'll mean something. You won't have to guess at it. And so let us stand tall, steadfast, and true. Let us march with that pure conscience, with that good heart, and with that sincere faith. Let us pick up the banner. Let's carry the flag for Yahushua HaMashiach, so that others who are lost can be found, so that others who are in sorrow can feel joy, so that others who are addicted can be unchained from alcohol, from drugs, and from the constant gnawing away of their spirit. Let us walk tall and be an example for our people. In Yahushua HaMashiach, we may be weak because we're human and imperfect and make mistakes, but in Yahuwah, we are strong. Our will might be undisciplined and weak, but in Yahuwah, our will is strong, because we are living his will, and his will is unbreakable. His will is true. His will is strong. And our spirit might be weak, but in Yahuwah, in the Ruach HaKodesh, our spirit is strong. And so as such, we can walk steadfast and true, unstoppable, undeniable, unconquerable, unassailable, undefeatable, as we move with speed and grace, relentlessly and ceaselessly, to kingdom come.